Surprisingly, over 90% of viewers haven't subscribed yet. If you're enjoying the content, hit that subscribe button. It motivates us to keep creating and helps us never miss an upload. And you'll never miss a story again. The door slammed behind her, punctuating a sentence I never wanted to hear. Claire didn't cry, didn't look back. She just rolled her suitcase down the hall, as if she were headed for some quiet meditation retreat, and not walking away from a 4-year relationship. I stood there, still holding my coffee mug, its warmth a sharp contrast to the chill growing inside me. Her departure was final. No tearful explanations, no apologies, just a cold, calculated exit. I watched her go, my thoughts swirling. But nothing was going to change the reality. Claire was leaving, and in her wake, a part of me began to break. My name's Marcus Hale. 35, a product manager at a tech company in Los Angeles. Her name was Claire. 34, my partner, my confidant, the woman I had imagined building my future with. At least, that's what I thought until everything fell apart. Sure, we had our good moments. Sunday brunches with mismatched mugs, spontaneous midnight drives up Mulholland, dumb fights over laundry cycles and thermostat settings. But we had something real. Or so I believed. That was until one Tuesday night when she sat across from me at dinner, silent, detached, all dressed up like she had somewhere better to be. "I need a break from us," she said. 3 weeks. I need to figure things out." I didn't say much. I thought about it, sure, but for about 6 minutes before reality hit me. I had heard that tone before. The, "I'm not ready to talk about this, but I'm going to say it anyway" tone. She claimed she was staying at her friend Nicole's place. That sounded like the perfect explanation, wrapped in just the right amount of sympathy and vulnerability. But there was something in her face, something that didn't match her words. I'd been in the tech world long enough to know when I was being debugged. And Claire? She was debugging me, piece by piece. That night, after she left in that powder blue dress, one she saved for weddings and fancy dinners, I sat alone in the apartment, the silence pressing in on me. No music, no TV, just the sound of my own thoughts echoing in the empty space. And then, like a weight in my stomach, it hit me. She wasn't just taking time away. She was taking time for something or someone. I waited 2 hours before I went into our room. The drawer where she kept her things? Empty. Her perfume, her sleep shirts, her makeup? Gone. She didn't pack for a trial separation. She packed for a clean break, for something she had planned, polished, and premeditated. The next morning, I made myself the strongest coffee I could brew and called Logan, my best friend. A guy who'd been through a brutal divorce. A guy who once used his ex-wife's name as a password reminder because, as he put it, never again. "You need a lawyer," Logan said, his voice serious, like the grim tone of a man who knew the score, "before she turns your life into a screenplay." He recommended Rendoza, a lawyer with a sharp smile and a suit that screamed trouble. By the time I hung up, I was sitting across from him in a sleek office, detailing the cracks in my marriage like I was offering a deposition. I told him about Claire's sudden soul-searching, her mysterious friend Nicole, and the suitcase that was packed as though she were ready for a runway show. Rendoza leaned back in his chair, his eyes sharp. "She's not just leaving you," he said flatly. "She's launching something. You need to build your defense now." So that's what I did. I changed the passwords, froze our joint account, and called the landlord to make sure only my name stayed on the lease. I wasn't sabotaging her life. I was saving mine. But nothing prepared me for what I found next. While packing up her things, I came across a drawer she had never let me near. Inside was a leather pouch, old photos, love notes, and plane tickets. Not from me, but from someone else. 10 photos, one man, over and over again. Laughing on beaches, embracing at wine tastings. One postcard, Lisbon 2019, just us again. Lisbon? Claire had never been to Portugal, at least not that I knew of. It all clicked into place. Her 3-week soul-searching journey, it wasn't with Nicole. It wasn't even in California. It was with him, whoever he was. By Thursday, Claire's supposed clarity quest was veering dangerously close to international betrayal. At first, the thought of her in some warm, exotic place with someone else made my stomach churn. But instead of spiraling, I found clarity. Not the kind she pretended to seek, but the kind that stung. I remembered something else. Recently, Claire had taken a medical leave from work. She'd said she was too anxious to function, that her therapist had advised her to take time off. At the time, I believed it. I even made her herbal tea on the nights she called HR in tears. But now, I knew better. So I did what anyone in my situation would do. I investigated. I opened her iPad, which she had forgotten to log out of, and within minutes, I found her hidden Instagram account, the one she never told me about. 15 followers, a private circle of friends, and there in her latest post was a geotagged photo from Lisbon, Portugal. Her smile was wide, her eyes sparkling. A man's hand rested on her waist. The caption read, "Learning how to breathe again." I froze. My body went cold as I clicked through the rest of the posts. More photos. Claire on a beach, Claire on a boat, Claire sharing ice cream with a man I didn't recognize but now couldn't forget. He was tall, smug, mid-30s, and had a face that looked like it had cheated before. And the worst part? She looked happy. Not guilty, not reflective, just free. Then I saw it, under one of the pictures. Griffin Barrow, 79, my forever travel partner. I didn't know the name, but I knew the situation. Claire was not just cheating on me. She was helping someone else cheat too. This wasn't a midlife crisis. This was a full-on international disaster. I wasn't going to confront her, not yet. Not with rage or accusations. I needed power, not pity. So I reached out to someone who could give me answers. Taylor. Claire's college friend, the one who always knew a little too much. I messaged her casually. "Hey, got time for coffee?" Her response was quick. We met the next afternoon at a coffee shop near Venice Beach. She looked nervous, eyes darting, voice low. "I shouldn't be doing this," she said, sipping her chai latte like it was court-ordered. Claire had made her promise. Promise what? I asked, though I already knew the answer. Taylor didn't say much. Instead, she pulled out her phone and tapped through an album before turning the screen toward me. Boom! There they were again, Claire and Griffin. Different photos, same smiles, same intimacy, same betrayal. Taylor told me that Claire had said she needed Griffin to help her understand herself, whatever that meant. I didn't flinch. I didn't react. I just asked, "Is Griffin single?" Taylor blinked, a slight hesitation before she answered. "Number, he's married, 3 years. His wife's name is Tracy." And just like that, the floor fell out beneath me. Claire wasn't just cheating. She was helping Griffin cheat too. The weight of what Taylor had told me hit harder than I expected. This wasn't a simple affair. This was a tangled web of lies, manipulation, and deceit. Claire wasn't just stepping out on our marriage. She was actively participating in tearing apart someone else's life too. Griffin, her travel partner, was married. His wife, Tracy, had no idea that her husband was off in Portugal, living a double life with Claire. I felt numb, but I wasn't done yet. I wasn't going to let this end with me simply feeling sorry for myself. If Claire had chosen this path, then I was going to expose the truth, every last piece of it. And I had to start with Tracy. I spent hours that night piecing together what I had learned. Instagram screenshots, emails, plane tickets, all the evidence that told the story Claire had worked so hard to hide. But now, it was time for the world to see it. I found Tracy's Instagram account. It was public. Her life on display for everyone but her husband. I stared at the photos she posted with Griffin. The anniversary pictures, smiling family gatherings. She didn't know the truth, and I was about to make sure she did. I debated for a long time before I finally wrote the message. "Hi, Tracy. You don't know me, but my name's Marcus Hale. I believe your husband and my wife are currently in Portugal together. I thought you deserved to know. I've attached photos of them together. I hope this helps you. Best regards, Marcus. It felt strange writing that message, like I was stepping into someone else's nightmare. But I couldn't sit back and let her continue living a lie. I hit send and then sat in silence, waiting for whatever was going to happen next. It didn't take long for the silence to break. The phone buzzed, an unknown number. I picked it up on the third ring, and the voice that greeted me on the other end was tight with emotion. "Is this Marcus Hale?" she asked. I paused. "Yes, this is." "I'm Tracy Adams," she said, her voice shaking. "Griffin's wife." I could hear the heartbreak in her voice, the disbelief. "I saw the photos," she whispered. "I just needed to hear it from you. Are they really together?" I took a slow breath, then spoke gently. "Yes, they've been posting from Portugal all week. I don't know how long it's been going on, but it's not new." There was silence on the line, a long stretch of stillness that felt like it lasted an eternity. Then her breath caught, as if I had just ripped the floor out from under her. "He said it was a business trip," she said, her voice raw. "He told me Lisbon was a tech summit. I packed his suitcase myself." I didn't say anything. What could I say? She had packed his clothes for his business trip, unaware that he was using them to cheat on her with my wife. We talked for another 20 minutes. Two strangers connected by the same painful betrayal. And in that strange space, we both found a kind of clarity. She thanked me for telling her and said she was going to do something about it. I wished her luck. An hour later, my lawyer, Ron, called. His voice was different. There was something in it that I hadn't heard before. A hint of disbelief, a low whistle, as he processed the new development. "Did you send the evidence to her employer?" he asked. "Yes," I said, feeling no remorse. "Photos, dates, timestamps. She's on medical leave, and it's a lie." Ron paused. "That's huge. Fraud. If they fire her, she can't claim financial support in court. She'll be caught in her own web." Good. That was exactly what I wanted. Let her feel the full force of the consequences. That night, the fallout began. Claire called me 3 times in a row. I didn't pick up, but I listened to the voicemails. She didn't mention Portugal, didn't apologize. All she had were panicked pleas, her voice trembling. "Marcus, please call me back. Something's wrong at work. They contacted me. I don't know what to do." But by then, it was too late for apologies. I was done with her lies. The next day, Tracy struck back publicly. She posted an album of the affair on Facebook. No filters, no soft lighting, just raw, unfiltered betrayal. The photos, the dates, the places, all of it exposed for the world to see. "This is what betrayal looks like," she wrote in the caption. "While I packed his bag for a business trip, he was on the beach with someone else's wife. You both deserve each other. I'm done." It spread like wildfire. Claire's coworkers saw it. Her parents saw it. Even our landlord sent me a text. "Wow, saw the Facebook thing. You okay, man?" But the truth was, I was more than okay. Because this wasn't revenge. This was justice. The next morning, Ron called again, his tone even more serious. "We just got word. Claire's employer terminated her, effective immediately. Fraud, breach of policy. She lost her job." I closed my eyes and exhaled. It was happening. Everything she had worked to keep hidden was unraveling. Every lie she spun was collapsing. And now, it was my move. I filed the divorce papers the same day. The moment they were signed, I changed the locks on the apartment. It was over. The relationship we had once shared, the life we had built together, was gone. And now, I was taking back control. 2 days later, Claire returned from Portugal, but not with Griffin, and certainly not with any sense of triumph. She arrived alone, dragging 2 suitcases behind her face a mask of regret and confusion. Her key didn't work anymore, and when she tried to open the door, she knocked, then pounded, and finally screamed my name. "Marcus, open the door!" she cried, her voice desperate. I walked calmly to the window, holding the envelope with the divorce papers in my hand. I slid the window open just enough to let her see the envelope. "You needed 3 weeks," I said, my voice cold and steady. "I figured it out in 3 hours." Her hands shook. Her eyes watered as she looked up at me, pleading with her gaze. "Please," she whispered, "let me explain." I didn't flinch. I didn't feel the urge to scream, to confront her, or to give in to her pleas. I just smiled, tired and calm. There's nothing left to explain. And with that, I shut the window. The finality of the moment felt heavy, like a door slamming shut on the life we once shared. I watched her stand there on the front steps, holding the divorce papers in her hands, like they were some foreign language she couldn't understand. Her face, usually so composed, was a mess. Hair tousled from the flight, lips cracked, makeup smudged from hours of crying. She looked like a woman who had returned from a war she started and lost. She knocked on the glass again, softer this time, her voice trembling. "Marcus, just talk to me." But I didn't. I had nothing left to say to her. While she had been basking in the sun with Griffin, I had been reclaiming my life. I had changed the locks, scrubbed the apartment clean of her existence. All her things were gone. The clothes she left behind? Gone. The furniture she'd bought? Packed up and stored at her parents' place? Even the espresso machine she loved so much? Sold. I wasn't going to wake up every morning to the smell of betrayal. I was done. The final blow came when I called the dealership earlier in the week. Claire had leased the car in my name. I was the one who had signed the contract because her credit was shot. So I called them. "Hi, I need to terminate the lease and schedule pickup." They didn't ask questions. They didn't care. They just set a date for Thursday at 3 p.m. I stood in the kitchen, sipping my coffee as the tow truck arrived. Claire was standing on the sidewalk, wide-eyed as she watched the driver hook up the car. "What are you doing?" she asked, her voice shaking. "That's my car!" "No, Claire," I said, watching her crumble in front of me. "It never was." The driver shrugged, gave me a thumbs up, and drove off with the last piece of her old life trailing behind him like a funeral procession for her lies. Claire broke then, right there on the pavement. Her knees buckled and she sobbed, her tears falling in great heaving sobs. She tried calling me again, 5 times, then 10, then 20. I didn't pick up. I just sat back on the couch, letting the silence wrap around me like a comforting blanket. That evening, her father came to pick her up. He didn't say a word to me. He just stood there looking at her as she loaded her bags into his car. The look on his face wasn't anger. It was disappointment. Not at me, but at her. The kind of look a father gives when he realizes his daughter isn't who he thought she was. And just like that, she was gone again. Only this time she had nothing left. No apartment, no car, no job, no Griffin. Turns out Tracy didn't just expose them. She nuked their lives. Griffin folded fast when Tracy confronted him. According to Taylor, who had a front row seat to the meltdown, he blamed it all on Claire. He claimed she pressured him, that he was confused, that it was all a mistake. Classic coward moves. He packed his bags, flew home early, and begged Tracy to forgive him. Claire was left behind like trash after a beach picnic. Taylor sent me the messages. Claire was furious, desperate. She tried calling Griffin 27 times. He blocked her completely, ghosted her. She posted some vague quote on her Instagram, as if to make it all sound like some philosophical journey. Sometimes the hardest storms lead to the clearest skies. The comments were brutal. Her coworkers roasted her. Her college friends unfollowed her. Even her extended family reached out to apologize. Her cousin Jenna, the one who once told me I was too boring for Claire, sent me a message. "Damn, man, she did you dirty. I'm honestly shocked. You didn't deserve this." No one bought her narrative anymore. No one came to rescue her. No one called her brave for finding herself. Her lies had reached their expiration date. And me? I moved on. Peacefully, quietly, completely. I went back to the gym, started sleeping through the night, reconnected with old friends, laughed again, loud, unfiltered belly laughs. I began taking long drives with the windows down, the music blasting, just like I did before the marriage became a silent competition of who could pretend the longest. A month later, I ran into Claire at the grocery store. It was a Sunday afternoon. She looked wrecked. Greasy hair tucked under a ball cap, hoodie 2 sizes too big, no makeup, no sparkle, just shadows and regret clinging to her skin like dust. She froze when she saw me. I kept walking, my pace steady. She opened her mouth like she was about to say something, some half-baked apology, some fake epiphany. But I didn't stop, didn't flinch. I pushed my cart right past her like she was just another item on sale I wasn't interested in. And in that moment, I realized something. I never had to scream, never had to throw anything, never had to beg. She thought I'd fall apart. Instead, I let her do it all by herself. Her fantasy crumbled, her lies collapsed. Her new life dissolved faster than she could say, it was just a mistake. And me? I survived. I rebuilt. I won. Because revenge doesn't always look like fire and fury. Sometimes it's just peace and not letting them back in.